Hi, third grade. Another chapter of Amon's adventure, chapter 16. Inventions. Tell me again why I must be the one to do this, Benjamin said. Because, Amon answered. He has seen my face, and it's too dangerous for a girl, so it has to be you. It was early the next morning, and Amon and Benjamin were crossing the viaduct over the temple. Now remember, Amon said, just follow him no matter where he goes. This is the day the temple guards get their pay, so if he's going to do something embarrassing, he will probably do it today. They were talking about Rafu, the captain of the temple guard. For his plan to work, Amon needed to know something about him that he wouldn't want to tell the truth about. What if he goes to a place I don't want to enter, Benjamin said. Then don't go in. Just the fact that he would go to such a place would be enough. After his discovery of the day before, Amon planned out exactly how to prove the guards were lying. But then, the guards had started their 12-hour shift and wouldn't be off until morning. In the meantime, Amon's mother came home and reported that Caiaphas would hear no mercy. Amon could tell his mother had been crying. Then Cornelius came to the house, and Amon thought his problems were solved. The governor was most upset, he told Amon and Tabitha. He feels that this priest Caiaphas is becoming too hard to control. Amon felt a grin coming across his face as he listened to the words that would free his father. He's going to inform the high priest that he may no longer condemn prisoners to death, Cornelius said, and Amon's grin grew. But, he added a moment later, he will allow all sentences that have already been passed to stand. Your father will still be crucified. Amon's heart fell, and his mother began to weep. Cornelius apologized that nothing more could be done, but said he'd keep trying and keep his eyes open. So now, while Tamar did the shopping for Amon's mother, Amon and Benjamin were headed for the temple. Hiding behind the columns of the portico surrounding the court of women, Amon pointed out Rafu to Benjamin. Stay with him until you have what you need, Amon whispered, or until he goes home to sleep. Benjamin gulped and nodded. Then I shall leave you, Amon said. I will meet you at my house when you complete your mission. Benjamin, it's windy out here. Benjamin seemed to ignore Amon. As he walked away, Amon kept looking back to see how his friend was doing. Soon Benjamin was gone. Amon crossed back over the viaduct across the upper city to his home. He thought the whole way about how he could catch the captain of the guard in a lie, and how he would use that information once he had it. He stopped thinking about this for a moment as he walked through the door of his house. Amon! Tamar shouted his name, and it made him jump. Did you hear? Tamar was so excited that Amon's mind instantly raced toward a dozen possibilities, all of them ending with his father being found innocent and released from prison. He rushed to her, his heart practically jumping out of his chest. What's happened? Tamar beamed at him. He healed a blind man. Amon blinked. What? He said, my father healed a blind man? Tamar laughed as if she was watching a juggler at the market. No, not your father. It was Jesus. Amon slumped down on the bench of the family table. His heart was crushed to dust. Oh, he said, is that all? Is that all? Tamar yelled. He healed a blind man. Amon, a man named Bartimaeus, who'd been blind since birth, right here in Jericho. Amon looked at Tamar, almost feeling sorry for the naive girl. And how does this save my father? He said. Because it proves Jesus is Messiah. He can come and release your father from prison, if only you believe. Amon looked at the floor and shook his head slowly. Then he stood and went to the stairway. As he climbed out of sight, tricks and lies prove nothing, Tamar, he said, and they will not help save my father. From the room below, he heard Tamar growl in frustration. She stomped out the front door, slamming it as she went. Amon wondered if he should have been more kind to the foolish girl, but soon forgot such thoughts as he once again pored over his lists and charts. Finally, he thought every thought he could possibly think about these plans, and it had nothing else to do but wait. His mother and brothers had gone somewhere, so he couldn't even play a game. To take his mind off of everything, he decided he'd finish a project that he had started for his mother before their trouble began. The day Amon had been admitted into the court of Israel, his mother would no longer allow him to carry her water up from the cistern. "You are a man now," she said. "It is not proper for you to do the work of a woman." But Amon's brothers were too small to help, and Amon hated to see his mother strain with heavy pots. While thinking about this one day, he thought how nice it would be, instead of his mother going to get the water, that the water would simply come to his mother. Having struck out on this great idea, he instantly began designing systems to accomplish this task. First, he thought about building a huge crane, like the builders use to move large stones, to pick up some water in a jug at the cistern and deposit it on the roof of the house. But calculations showed that a crane would have to be as tall as a mountain to make this work. Next, Amon thought about a system of wagons that could run in grooves in the street, pulled by their old donkey. But this would still require his mother to go to the cistern, load the jugs into the cart. Finally, an idea struck him that he knew would work, and he spent several days building the bulk of it. There was little left to be done, and he worked on it now while he waited for Benjamin. Amon's water system started with 3 urns on the roof, each large enough to hold a month's worth of water. Amon had collected them together with large hollowed-out pieces of olive wood, each at each end, which was stuck through a hole in the urn, sealed with pitch, just as a fisherman sealed the seams of their boats. Next, Amon carved a smaller hole near the base of the urn. He covered the inside of the hole with a square of thick goat hide attached along the top edge. Finally, he carefully split lengths of the straightest olive branches he could find, scraped out the centers, then placed them end to end, running from the small one into the next one and down the side of the house through a hole he had drilled in the wall next to the place where his mother did her cooking. Amon was just finishing up securing a basin to the wall under the pipe when his mother and brothers and Tamar came home. Tabitha gasped when she saw a hole in the wall of her kitchen. "What is this thing you have done?" she demanded. Amon knew he'd better give a quick demonstration. "It is something I built to ease your burden," he said. Then he pulled a rope hanging from the ceiling, and Tabitha gasped again as water gushed out of the pipe. The rope ran up to the 3rd urn, which was attached to the edge of the leather piece inside. When Amon pulled the rope, it pulled the leather away from the hole and allowed the water to run into the pipe. When he let go of the rope, the pressure of the water held the leather tight against the hole that would not allow any more water to escape. Tabitha approached the rope hanging from the ceiling as if it were a snake. Gingerly, she gave it a pull. A moment later, water flowed from the pipe sticking through the wall. Tabitha screamed and let go of the rope, and the water stopped. She tried it again, but this time she giggled when the water came out of the wall. "Is it magic?" she asked. "No, Mother," Amon said happily, as she was so pleased. "It is engineering. Right now the water is rain I've collected in the urns on the roof, but soon I will ask the master builder of the city permission to run my pipes all the way to the upper aqueduct. Then we will never be without water." "Pipes?" Tabitha asked. "What is a pipe?" But before Amon could answer, Benjamin burst through the door, sweating hard and panting even harder. I've got it, he said between gasps for breath. "I've got your answer." Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27 and verse 14. Waiting. It's something most of us aren't very good at. We think that if God doesn't act today, then he's not going to act at all. If he doesn't do it now, we lose all hope that he ever will. Amon is impatient. He wants to move forward with his investigation and prove his father's innocence. He wants to be in control and make things happen, but he can't. He must wait for others to work, just as we must wait for God to work. Maybe that's one lesson during Lent. It's 40 days long. It gives us time to practice our patience. We're practicing our patience right now, aren't we? See you later, 3rd grade.